The story begins with a forest ranger named Jack, who, as usual, is out on patrol in the forest today. Cold wind crashes through the trees, and an eerie silence hangs in the air. But Jack has no idea that this silence is about to change the direction of his life forever. Suddenly, without any warning, he is attacked from an unknown direction. A fast-moving arrow flies past him. Fortunately, he survives, but his heart starts pounding violently. The question is not that he was attacked. The real question is, in today's modern world, who attacks with arrows, and why? To find answers, Jack immediately removes his jacket and grips his gun, moving forward cautiously. He takes off his jacket so he can move freely and quickly. He carefully scans every direction, reading every sign on the ground, every tree, every bush. A long time passes, but he hears nothing and sees no one. He starts to think that perhaps the attacker has fled, or maybe it was just an ordinary hunter who missed his target by mistake. But fate has something else written for him. While these thoughts are still running through his mind, another arrow suddenly comes flying with full force and pierces the upper part of Jack's chest. Overwhelmed by pain, he collapses to the ground. His breathing becomes irregular. In severe agony, Jack tries to pull the arrow out, but it breaks in half. Now the situation becomes even more dangerous. Jack knows that if he stays here too long, an infection could kill him. Gathering all his strength, he manages to make his way out of the forest to where his vehicle is parked. Unfortunately, the car refuses to start. This shocks him even more because he had filled the fuel tank that very morning. So where did the fuel go? Was this all part of a carefully planned trap? Blood is flowing rapidly, so he decides to walk on foot. Along the way, he notices a vehicle hidden among the bushes. Jack's experienced eyes immediately find it suspicious. It could belong to the person who attacked him. He carefully marks the vehicle so he can identify it later and somehow makes it home. At home, he removes the arrow. It looks extremely old, almost as if it belongs to another era. Jack knows very well that arrows like these are no longer made in modern times. This moment reveals a glimpse of Jack's past. Jack was not always a protector of animals. Once he was a famous and dangerous hunter whose name was known throughout the city. However, his daughter Alina strongly disliked his hunting. She wanted her father to save lives, not take them. It was because of her that Jack gave up hunting. One day, while returning from somewhere with his daughter, Jack stepped out of the car for a few moments to buy something. When he returned, his world had fallen apart. Alina had disappeared. 5 years have passed, but Jack still puts up missing posters in search of her. The pain shattered him from the inside. To forget the grief, he turned to alcohol, and this addiction eventually destroyed his marriage. Now he lives alone, haunted by the shadows of his past. To keep Alina's wish alive, Jack becomes a forest ranger. He installs cameras across large areas of the forest, so he can protect animals and monitor every movement. Meanwhile, the story introduces the city's new sheriff, Elizabeth. She arrives at police-in-charge Carl's office to get her brother Group released. He was arrested at an abandoned factory for involvement in illegal activities. Because of Elizabeth's position, Group is released with a warning. On the way back, Elizabeth asks him if he killed anyone. Group denies it and claims that the factory workers attacked him after discovering he was the sheriff's brother. Elizabeth warns him not to go there again, but he remains silent. Soon, Elizabeth receives news that a body has been found near the riverbank. During the investigation, no clear evidence is found, but she notices old wound marks around the girl's neck. Blood traces suggest that the girl struggled to survive for a long time. A broken arrow is also found stuck in a tree, which gives the investigation a new direction. The arrow is exactly the same kind as the one that pierced Jack's chest. When images of the body are shown on the news, fear grips Jack. He thinks it might be his daughter, but the body turns out to be someone else, and hope once again stays alive. Soon, another girl is attacked. Jack tries to save her, but the killer seriously injures her. Later, it is revealed that the killer cuts the vocal cords of the girl so they cannot scream. Jack takes the injured girl to a safe place, where she writes her name in the dirt, Molly. The investigation deepens. It is discovered that the arrows used are rare and illegal. Suspicion spreads across many people, even reaching Elizabeth's own brother. The situation worsens when Molly is attacked again. Finally, the truth comes out. The real killer turns out to be the very doctor who was treating Jack. His daughter was killed by a drunk driver, and driven by hatred, he started taking revenge on alcoholics. Using the trap set in his forest, Jack manages to capture him. The doctor confesses his crimes, but Jack knows the law will never give him the punishment he truly deserves. So Jack delivers justice himself. In the end, Jack removes his daughter's missing posters and performs her funeral. Elizabeth shuts down the factory so more young lives are not ruined. Jack decides to start a new life, understanding that life is given only once and should not be wasted in the shadows of the past. And with that, the story comes to an end.